Hey everyone, Annie Poirier from Shipping Perspectives, and today I'm going to share some information about hydration and water. As you saw yesterday on Self-Care Sunday, we had talked a little bit about taking care of ourselves as being part of hydration, being part of taking care of ourselves. So a lot of times when we feel stressed or when we get anxious or we're worried or something happens that makes us feel, maybe anxious or whatnot, it can happen anytime at any day. And a lot of times I think about when it starts to happen more often, what might be going on like with our basics. And one of our basics at Shaping Perspectives is hydration. We have fuel and eating, we have moving, we have self-care, we have self-talk, we have our body image piece. And along those lines are sleeping and getting out in the air and oxygen and hydration. So I'm going to share a little bit about hydration today, and I have a couple of notes because I don't want to miss anything, and I have a couple of quotes too, and so I don't want to mix those up either. So I'm going to start off with this quote. Pure water is the world's first and foremost medicine. It's a Slovakian proverb. And water can do so much for us. Our body is made up of 70% water, so there's a lot of water within us. And then, so we need water. Our body needs it. It works better. It works more efficiently on it. Some of the benefits: it increases our circulation, optimizes brain function and our metabolism, purifies the blood, enhances our immune system, right? So we don't get sick as much if we're hydrated. Aids in digestion, so it helps digesting our food. Reduces in overeating because it does fill the stomach up a little bit. And it stabilizes our blood sugar. So we have a lot of different things. Water does a lot. And what we focus on, Shaping Perspectives, is drinking more water and tea. Because we know there's some benefits there with different types of tea, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the week. We're going to explore that option a little bit more. But while we're doing that, what we also want to think about is reducing some of the other types, not eliminating, but reducing some of the other types of liquids that we do drink. Juices, sodas, lemonades, teas, wine, alcohol, those kind of things. So if we can increase hydration with water and tea, it really helps the body establish a better sense of homeostasis. So it's running smoother, right? And there actually have been small studies shown that wine and alcohol can increase the risk for cancer. The American Heart Association, they talked about there was for a while a link between red wine and cardiovascular health, but there's been no actual studies that show that, and that we know that that's something that we want to make sure that that there are no actual studies that red wine helps benefit cardiovascular health. So things that might help cardiovascular health would be moving our bodies, right? Moving and playing and exercising in different types of intensities, so that the heart is being challenged in different venues, and also increasing our fruits and vegetables. Water, there's some hydration in different types there's higher hydration in different types of fruits and vegetables. So getting fruits and vegetables, that's another thing that can be really helpful. A couple of other things I want to share with you that I found this really fascinating. 1 can of soda can increase the risk of diabetes up to 22%. That's a pretty high percentage. So just thinking about that and thinking about the sugar content in a can of soda. And if you are having, a lot of these things can have addictive qualities as well. So, know that we're here to help with this. And if you're going to take something away, we also know it's good to replace it with something. So we can't just take things away and expect no fallout. So it might be a removal of something, even if you're drinking two or three or 4 or 5 cans of soda a day, just removing one and replacing one with a glass of water can make a really big difference. It's always about that 1% better. The other thing I want to talk about is calorie-free doesn't necessarily mean risk-free, right? So we know that artificial sweeteners can also increase the risk of diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and weight gain. Because what happens is it actually changes the gut bacteria, which prevents us from getting the nutrients that we need, which may lead to cravings of other things. So, natural sweetener like stevia can be something that we can utilize when it comes to sweetening sweetening drinks, but staying away from some of the artificial sweeteners that are found in, the diet beverages, or even the low calorie juices that are out there as well. So check your labels. Even some of the waters out there, there's a sparkling water that has some sweetness in it, and it's got aspartame, I think, as opposed to stevia. So be aware, be a conscious consumer when you're looking at different drinks to bring into your home. Lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit about caffeine. Caffeine is something that a lot of people get their day started with, right? A cup of coffee, got to get my cup of coffee. And I always think of, Dunkin' Donuts keeps America running, right? So their whole marketing plan is around the need for caffeine, the need that people have for caffeine. So just a couple of things about caffeine. Too much caffeine can lead to an increase in anxiety. So if you have anxiety tendencies, it could be just an experiment to notice if they heighten when you are consuming caffeine. It can increase insomnia, and also can be an addictive. Like, you need more in order to get the same effect. Like some medicines, right? You need, or even herbs or things that are give you effect. I know that sometimes something like melatonin to help people sleep, you need a little bit more if you rely on it. So caffeine can be considered that as well. You need more to get your day started, so one cup's not doing it anymore. So too much of it can really impact the adrenal system. We talked about dieting and how not giving the body what it needs nutritionally can impact the adrenal system. So can caffeine. And we know that the adrenal system is our cortisol levels, right? So we're thinking about when we think about our cortisol, as soon as our cortisol gets kicked up, it signals the body to hold on to weight. So that's a reason for, a lot of times, a reason for weight gain when it comes to lack of sleep, right? Or dieting or excess stress. So in today's society, where we already have a lot of stress, we don't need added stress and impacting the adrenal system this way. So thinking about caffeine, just being aware of how much caffeine you drink, because caffeine can also impact the bones and bone health, and lead to osteoporosis. So that's something, it can be as easy as having your cup of coffee and drinking some water. So it becomes a habit sandwich, right? So that it's, you're countering with water, or you're having a glass of water before you have your morning cup of coffee. So there's lots of ways to play with this. I want to read another quote before I finish up, because I think that this is a great quote. Thanks for hanging in here with me as I talk about hydration. Drinking water is like washing out your insides. The water will cleanse the system, fill you up, and improve the function of all your tissues. It's by Kevin Stone. So I think that that's for me, that helps me just know that water is something that my body needs. I drink water usually pretty quick. I always have a cup in the morning, I always have a cup at night, and then I scatter them out throughout the day. So a little bit later on in the week, we're gonna come back. And when we come back to finish up this vlog series, we're gonna talk a little bit about how much you need, how much water do you need, how much hydration do you need, different strategies to get it, how can you fit it into your day. And then also we're going to share with you our own hydration station. We have a little hydration station, and I'll show you how you can set up your own in your home. So I hope you'll stay tuned a little bit later on. There's a little water for you. I figured since we were talking about hydration, I would come out near the water today. So have a great day. I'll see you a little bit later on in the week, and we'll talk a little bit more about hydration. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them below, comment below, and I'll address them later on, okay? Thank you very much. Bye.